Back here on episode 5 of Tales from Tigertown, Aaron Arnstein alongside Mitch Morrow here for our segment 1 of 2 here on episode 5. And Mitch, I want to thank you coming on and joining us today.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Aaron, for having me on. I've seen your previous episodes as my other colleagues were on, and I was very excited to be on. So thank you, man.
Yeah, man. Now you're here from outside to now inside the studio.
Yeah.
So as a ticket sales and hospitality rep with the Flying Tigers, again, we're trying to acclimate and kind of teach people kind of the different roles behind the scenes that people might not necessarily know about. Can you kind of explain kind of what that role entails here in Tigertown?
Yeah, so here as a sales associate for the Flying Tigers, and it's kind of entailed ticket sales. We've helped out with the box office, so they've trained us on all of the seating bowls and all of the suites and how to accommodate our patrons on getting the right seats as far as like ADA seats and specific shading areas and specifics for there. But yeah, just taking care of patrons' accounts, tickets, season tickets, half-season tickets. We do hospitality suites and kind of have the full inventory to kind of sell out this place. So it's been awesome. It's been a very big learning experience for sure.
Yeah, that's great. Now, I want to kind of talk about that a little bit, the hospitality side of things. In kind of what ways do you kind of try to cultivate that hospitality to interested parties or patrons here at Tigertown?
Yeah, so I have a big background in hospitality, as that was part of my major, as I was a sports management major. So obviously everything sports related is customer service. We're here for the patrons and our fans. So hospitality is great. We kind of do a good job of catering and kind of bringing an experience here to give them a little insight of Tigertown. So it's awesome hearing that, previous patrons and previous season ticket holders, they've been here before, they kind of know the flow, and they're just excited to learn some of the new things that we got going on each and every year. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Now, I want to kind of touch about that. Speaking of hospitality, we're actually here in an on-deck suite, and of course, that's kind of what your role entails. Also, the 34 Club, I want to touch on that in a second. Being in a suite, whether it's the 34 Club or here again in the on-deck suites, kind of what can patrons expect if people are interested in coming out here and sitting right in our exact seats for a game?
Yeah, they can expect a fun AC conditioned,
yes, AC, that's big,
air conditioned environment that they can get that premium seating, kind of like up in Detroit, that they can watch the games and not be overheated. So they can also get food catered in here. You can have your family and friends. You can throw birthday parties. It's a really good experience, and I think everyone should be able to partake in being in a suite at a sporting event. It's awesome.
Yeah, I can attest to it. Being in the press box, I'm right next to one of those suites, and I kid you not, every night that place is packed. Whether it's a birthday party, I see travel ball teams in there all the time, and people have a lot of fun. Now, kind of going to the second half of that, the 34 Club. I've been in there. It's really, really nice. It's, an enhanced experience coming to a baseball game. Can you explain kind of what the 34 Club is all about and what people can expect if they ever come to a game there?
Yeah, so that's more of our public huge suite. That's more of less of throwing a party in there, but wife and kids, you want to enjoy premium seating during a baseball game, but not so much having to have it secluded just to yourself. As you know, there's other patrons that are in there, but there's a full bar in there. There's food. There's outside seating with cushions. So it's a really good experience. I really like the 34 Club a lot.
Yeah, I do too. You just, being a history baseball buff, you have all the pictures of the Tigers, different legends and everything like that, logos and things like that. It's a really cool place. So definitely make sure to try to get down there. And this comes out every Sunday or every other Sunday, and every Sunday at home we have brunch in the 34 Club, so that's another great reason. Every Sunday at a home game, make sure to come out there.
Mm-hmm. Sunday brunch is a huge hit. It's honestly probably one of our biggest selling drivers for Sunday games. As you know, Sunday is the last game of the homestand, so some people could possibly not make it. I know other people have other things going on Sundays, but Sunday brunch is a huge hit with a great menu, so everybody should definitely check it out if you get the chance.
Yeah, no, 100%. Now, it's interesting because looking at kind of the different people that you cater to, again, whether it's people in these suites or like you mentioned, trying to get people out here with being a ticket sales rep, kind of what would your message be to anybody interested in coming to a game here, or to people who might be interested in coming into one of these suites and kind of having a premium-like experience?
Yeah, I would say if you're new to kind of some of these suites and some of these new experiences, I would say just give it a shot. Let us take care of you. We do a good job. Our hospitality team. Shout out Kevin. Shout out all the guys over there. Owen. They do a great job of getting people set in, and Sarah and Drayton with all the sponsors and stuff. I know they have certain suites that they can be available to them during games. So, and the box office always takes care of these guys too. So I would say just give it a chance. It's, everybody's sat in the seating bowl before, but not everybody's possibly had a chance to be in a suite. So I think it's a one-in-a-lifetime experience, and I think that everyone should do it.
Yeah, very well said. Now, kind of just to round it out, I'd like to ask kind of personally about your experience here at Tigertown. What has stood out to you about working in the Flying Tigers organization, this being your first season, correct?
Yeah, of course. I'm very new here. This is actually one of my first jobs in baseball besides an internship that I did with a junior college team.
Heartland JC, right?
Yeah, Heartland
Powerhouse.
Baseball. Yeah. Shout out the Midwest. Yeah, no, it's been great. It's been a lot. It's been a lot of learning. I've learned from everybody. I've learned from you. I've learned from Brandon. I've learned from the guys in the box office, marketing, ticket sales. I've kind of been thrown into everything. So that's been a great thing as I go forward in my sports career. But as far as Tigertown, I think there's a lot of camaraderie around here, and everybody, like Andy says, is kind of pulling on the same rope here. So it's awesome being able to see all these moving parts and all them come together every homestand. So go Tigers.
Yeah, go Flyers, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Mitch. Really, really appreciate it. And we'll be back in just a moment for episode 5, segment 2 here with Cale Wetwiska, our special guest with the Flying Tigers. Welcome back here into episode 5 of Tales from Tigertown. Aaron Arnstein alongside Cale Wetwiska. Cale, thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, now I want to start out actually with some kind of breaking news here. The day we're recording this, LeBron James has just signed with the Philadelphia 76ers. Why does that matter? Well, you're a big NBA fan. You're a big Thunder fan.
Yep.
So I'm curious, being from Oklahoma, and we're kind of going to get into that. Were you surprised by that decision? That's on top of the sports world. So
yeah, a little bit, honestly. I know it's LeBron. He probably can play for forever, right? But, I honestly thought he was going to be done with the Lakers personally. But, it's excited. It's exciting for 76ers fans.
Yeah.
And, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see him and Jaylen Brown together and Embiid and see what they can put together.
Now, being a Thunder fan, did you grow up going to games out there?
Yeah, of course. I was a huge Russell Westbrook fan. Him and Harden and Durant were all together. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I was there as a kid a lot. Yeah, and then obviously they all went their separate ways, but we had some rough patches. But obviously, 2 years ago we won it for the first time. It was huge for the city.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been great. I love watching the Thunder, especially when they're good.
Especially now, man. I thought they were going to make the finals again, so they put up a great fight.
Yeah, hopefully next year we do what we did 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, right now the NBA is very competitive, so
yeah, it is. Yeah.
Well, and now speaking of your competitive mindset and kind of just competitiveness as a whole, one thing I really want to jump into is your athletic abilities. We're going to talk about your days on the gridiron, but first, you were a star 2A, not just in high school, which we see a lot of these guys, but also in college. And arguably, you could say that you put up better numbers as a college hitter than maybe a college pitcher. I'll just read them off to the people at home. He hit 384, 18 home runs, 89 RBIs, and a nearly 1,100 OPS over 109 games at his JC at Northern Oklahoma Enid. Now, yet you're here as a starting pitcher. We saw you as we're taping this on the mound last night. You've looked excellent the last 2 outings.
Thank you.
Why did you decide to go the pitching route?
I always kind of heard coaches tell me, the game's going to tell you when. It's going to kind of choose a path. I always thought it was going to be the hitting route. That's kind of what it looked like out of high school for sure. But yeah, between my freshman and sophomore year, I kind of just put in a lot of work on the mound, and my pitching coach back home was like, we kind of see something special. Let's kind of just see what we can turn this into, kind of thing. And like I said, between my freshman and sophomore year of college, it really just cleaned up a lot of stuff mechanically, put on a lot of weight, and one thing kind of just led to another, and it just kind of took off from there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now, were you surprised when your pitching coach said, maybe let's turn towards the pitching side? Kind of what was that like for you to hear that?
A little bit. I mean, like I said, I always loved hitting. Kind of in that time, I kind of I had an open mind to it because like pitching was always something I could kind of just do. I never really practiced a ton. I was more like when I was going to put in hours, I was putting hours in the cage. But yeah, I mean, pitching was definitely something that like I wanted to work on more because I maybe felt like I could get pretty good at it. But then once I kind of started to see the results a little bit, I was like, okay, I am interested in kind of what this can turn into. And then kind of just really bought into it. And yeah, now I'm here. So
Yeah.
clearly and hopefully it's worked out to this point, and hopefully it continues to. So
Yeah. Now we all marvel at Shohei Ohtani's two-way abilities, but I still don't think people really get an understanding of how hard it is to not just be a two-way, but to be a successful one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge workload. So what did your kind of routine and schedule look like when you were a two-way back in college?
yeah, so junior college definitely probably a little bit different than what you would think at Division I's with the two ways there and stuff like that. It was definitely a lot. We would have hitters lifts in the morning, and I would go lift in the morning. I'd go to class. I'd come in for early BP. But pretty much during practice, obviously like playing the outfield as well. Still had to get my defensive work in, but we were pretty smart with the throwing. My coach put a lot of trust in me to just communicate how I'm feeling constantly. Just pretty much take as much stress off the arm as possible. So I'd go in for early BP. We'd go outside. And then I'd do all my throwing with the pitchers. So whatever I think I needed that day or, based off whenever I was starting that week, I'd get my throwing in I need for the day. Then after that, usually hit BP on the field, go through some defensive stuff, but pretty much all the defensive stuff we would do, I would just run routes in the outfield, and then I would never throw, pretty much. So it was like do all my throwing with the pitchers, throw my bullpen if I needed to, and then I would do everything but throw from the defensive standpoint and offense. So.
Yeah. And when you say that, you mean from the outfield you weren't throwing? Is that what you
Correct.
mean? Okay.
Yeah. So like we would just do like fly balls or we'd hit our cuts or whatever, and then I would pretty much just make the play, field it all the way up till the throw, and then just stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to that, being a two-way, how do you think being a two-way kind of helped you on the pitching side, being a hitter and being able to understand kind of how the brain works?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's definitely something that I have an advantage of compared to a lot of people that have pitched their whole life. Just things that personally that I would do as a hitter in certain counts kind of alters my mindset when I'm on the other side pitching. Knowing kind of sequencing wise what to throw in certain situations, guys on second and third, 2-0, probably not going to cruise a fastball down the middle because obviously as a hitter, that's what you're looking for. So just stuff like that, kind of being able to put myself in the hitter's perspective and just using that to my advantage.
Yeah, I find that really interesting, especially talking about that, because it really does give you an advantage. Mm-hmm. And just one more question on the pitching and the hitting side of things. So, again, you were a two-way for your couple seasons at the JC, and now here in the Tigers org, you're solely a pitcher, PO as we say. Mm-hmm. Kind of, was that when you decided to go, quote-unquote, all in on pitching when the Tigers drafted you as a pitcher? Or was there maybe before that, okay, if I do get drafted, it's the pitching side and we'll put hitting to the wayside?
Yeah, so kind of going in, the whole, I wasn't really focused on the draft really at all my sophomore year going into it.
Wow.
I honestly, never thought that it would happen. I was more I wasn't committed. I was going to my second year of junior college. My goal was go play Division I baseball. That was always what I wanted to do throughout high school. And so that's kind of what my goal was. And I had gotten a little bit of stuff before the season had started, gone on a couple of visits, got an offer, but I wasn't getting a ton of money. So I was just I'm just going to go back to junior college, just see what I can do with it. But yeah, I mean, I was going in more focused on college recruiting, trying to figure out where I was going to go, the next year. Then all of that, I mean, college recruiting is crazy. Yeah.
Especially in this day and age.
It's crazy with all the NIL and portal, and they made roster cuts, and it's just.
That's a whole nother podcast,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah. I don't even want to get into all that. But once I committed to Dallas Baptist, that's when I was kind of like, my pitching coach was like, hey, like, now let's just try to go get drafted. And I kind of just laughed about it. Like, I never really thought. I was like, okay, like, sure. And then, like, throughout the fall, there were some scouts that, like, were watching me, taping me. I had some meetings with just a few teams, Tigers being one of them. But other than that, like, that was kind of my main goal was, like, go play Division I baseball. And then at that point, it was kind of felt like I was just playing with house money. Like, if I get drafted, I get drafted, like, kind of thing. And then just turns out I had a pretty good spring on the mound, and then yeah, I had a couple draft camps after the season, and one thing led to another, and now I'm here. So it's crazy how everything turns out for sure.
Yeah, that is wild. Now, I want to go back to your days on the gridiron. You were a high school football quarterback back in Oklahoma. What kind of role did football play in your life? Because I know it was a big one growing up.
Yeah, for sure. I actually, like, through the middle of high school, I actually wanted to go play college football more than baseball. There's just something, like, I grew up playing it. My brother played. My dad played. It's just something that, one thing that was, like, awesome for me is all my best friends played. So that was a big thing for me as well, is, like, when you get to go out with all your buddies in high school all the time. I mean, especially playing on Friday nights in front of your whole town.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't go to a huge school, but, like, the town was always there. Everyone from our town was always there. And I mean, it was just like, the environment was awesome. Obviously, like, my mom taught at my high school. My brother went there. So it was just a lot of family ties as well. So it was just a special time. But yeah, I mean, I think that definitely has played a part in my life, especially the competitive side. And especially the preparation side as well. I think football is definitely one of those sports where, like, so much preparation's put into it.
For one game.
For one game, exactly. And in high school, you have 10 regular season games, and that's it. So it was always, 6 days of preparation, one game day. And so, like, I think that's helped me a lot, especially transitioning to the pitching side where I pitch once a week. That's kind of, I can feel some, I feel comfortable doing it because it's like, I've done this before. Like, so yeah, I think that's definitely played a big part for me as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. The translation from going from a high school quarterback where you're prepping for one game each week to being a starting pitcher. Is there anything kind of in specific that you've been able to take from being a high school quarterback and preparing for that one game to now being a pitcher and pitching once a week?
For sure. I think I've felt definitely, like, more confident. I think confidence comes along with it because it's like I put the work in throughout the week, and it's kind of like I'm seeing things on film or I'm seeing things through scouting report and stuff like that I've seen and worked on, 5 to 6 days of the week before my start. Whereas when I get up there finally on start day, it's like, okay, I've seen this before or I've done this before kind of thing. Yeah. So it just makes you feel more comfortable. And definitely more confident is in, like, okay, I've done this. I did this 2 days ago. Stuff like that. So yeah, I think I'm, very glad that I got to experience that when I was in high school and younger, to where, like, now it's like, okay, I've done this before. I know how to prepare. I know how to put myself in the best position to succeed, and then just use that confidence from there.
So being a two-sport athlete growing up, or being in high school, what did that look like for you? Because in the fall, obviously, and in the summer, I have to imagine, at least late summer, is all in on football. And then at some point, you got to turn the focus to baseball. So kind of give me an idea of what a high school season looked like for you, balancing those two sports.
Yeah. So a lot of it was summers were busy. Summers were really busy. We'd have baseball on the weekends, morning football workouts 5 days a week in the morning. Maybe some 7-on-7 on Thursdays. We do 7-on-7 on Thursdays. But kind of at the time, like I said, I was more of a hitter, so it was lighter on my arm.
Okay.
I would still pitch on the weekends, usually once a week, but my arm was honestly just in really good condition because I was throwing the football. I was playing baseball on the weekends, playing the outfield. So I never really felt the fatigue. That probably was also just being young. But yeah, I mean, summers, like I said, were crazy. And then kind of once August hit, or once that last tournament in July hit for baseball, kind of just put the glove down, put the bat down, and was just strictly football till the end of the season. We just focus on football. Once the season ended, I would take probably, I think literally like 2 days off, and then I'd go to baseball.
2 days.
Yeah, like it wasn't
Some people take
long.
weeks. You took 2 days.
Yeah, it wasn't long, and that was kind of my like. I'm a busybody. I don't like sitting around. Like as soon as football season ended, it was like, all right, let's go focus on baseball now. Like it was just kind of looking back on it, like I never really thought anything different. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible, and like to hear that, you were doing all that throwing and again being a two-sport athlete and really working out like 7 days a week, and yet again you were able to stay injury-free and healthy and everything like that. I think really speaks to a testament to your athletic ability and also just your ability to take care of yourself and prevent injury throughout that time.
For sure.
That's incredible. Now I want to stay with kind of the Oklahoma, growing up there and everything like that. Off the field, you have some big things ahead because you're getting married to your longtime girlfriend.
For sure.
Now fiance at the end of this year, and I know you've known her for some years now. Do you kind of remember the first time that you guys met and kind of set the scene for me there?
Yeah, I mean, it's way back. Like, I think in middle school I had a class with her.
Oh my
gosh,
that's
it's way back. So like, middle school I had a class with her. Her older brothers went. Also, so I went to Bethany. Her older brothers went to Bethany. My mom was a teacher there. My brothers went to Bethany. And the thing about Bethany is like everyone knows everyone. It's just a pretty small community kind of thing. So I always knew who she was. But I had a class with her when I was in 7th grade. She was in 8th grade. I had a huge crush on her. I told her. She shot me down because she was going to high school next year. So, it was what it was. But then freshman year of high school, I was finally in high school, and then, she couldn't resist me at that point.
I love it. Hey, he had the guts to ask twice, man. I love that.
That's right. But, yeah, I mean, she's great. She's been through it all with, I've grown up with her. We've gone through seasons of our lives together, and, it's great. She's always been my number one supporter. She's a rock star. She's planning a wedding right now at home by herself while I get to go play a kids game for 6 days of the week. So she's great. The support she gives me is great. And so, of course, I'm ready to marry her and spend my life together with her. So it's going to be great. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, huge congratulations. And speaking of the wedding, you mentioned me before that. Did you go home for the break for wedding planning?
Yeah. So I went home for 3 days of All-Star break. We had some more engagement pictures, and then
no more.
Of course, we have, plan rehearsal dinner, all that fun stuff. Starting to talk about house situation, and
gosh.
Yeah, so when I'm not on the field, I'm on the phone and figuring out, with the realtor and rehearsal dinner, but yeah, it's great. I mean, like I said, it's a lot right now, but we're both super excited and just trying to see this busy season is just like a blessing and working through it. So
yeah, that is great. Now, if there's one thing you take away from this podcast, Cale Wetwiska is a busy man. So the fact that he spent time to take about 20 minutes with us, we really appreciate that. That's great. Now, last question on that. Got to give me a play-by-play kind of through the proposal. How did that go down?
Yeah.
What were the emotions like? Because it's the biggest moment of your life.
Yeah. So there's a place called Broken Bow, Oklahoma. There's kind of like some nature trails there. It's super pretty. There's a lot of cabins. So she was actually with her entire family. They went and got this big cabin. And it was Thanksgiving week. So I told her that I wasn't going to be able to go because I had, bullpens and stuff to do at home. And then I had planned to drive up there on Friday after Thanksgiving and just surprise her, because her family's super close to her. Family's a big thing for her, and a lot of her cousins are older, so they're all married. So it's like the fact that we all got to be in the same spot for one period of time, I was like, that's the perfect time to do it.
Yeah.
And so like I kind of planned, texted her cousins and stuff, just made a whole plan that I was gonna propose then, and some of her friends helped me out as well. And no, it was great. We went up like a little trail, had a like beautiful backdrop. Yeah, it was awesome. I wish I could tell you what I said. I just completely blacked out. Do not remember really much. I just remember she said yes, and then that was like, all right, we're good. Like, we can move on. I can breathe. But yeah, I don't think I've ever been that scared for a game.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine.
No,
right?
yeah. Like, it's like I talk to her every day, and I've talked to her for the past 7 years of my life, but it was still terrifying.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can only imagine. That's crazy. But again, congratulations.
Thank you.
And forward to hearing some more good news, whether it's on or off the field. So come November, we're excited for that.
Yeah.
And just kind of to round it out here, you came to Lakeland kind of with a sort of chip on your shoulder, you could say, right? You're a JUCO guy, not necessarily a big name coming out into the draft. Some people, draft experts, were surprised that you were taken as early as you were. How do you think that has helped fuel you in your pro career? I mentioned off the top, you were coming off 2 really, really excellent starts, 7 shutout innings, only allowing 2 hits. How do you think that's kind of really helped you here in your first professional season?
Yeah, I think, I mean, like I said, like, I've kind of just been in a situation kind of my whole life where, like I said, no one really knows who I am. So it's like, I don't feel like there's a ton of expectation. Not that I, like, would be nervous if there was a lot of expectation, but, like, I just feel like I have something to prove. Like, I feel like I've had something to prove my entire life. Going to junior college out of high school and pretty much working every single level of baseball you can think of, pretty much I've played in it. So it's like it's just like another level to me. Like, it's just, keep working every day, stick to the process, commit to it. And just trust that the Lord has a plan. I just continue to trust that he's going to put me where I'm supposed to be. Yeah, he's definitely proved that the past few years. Like I said, the draft, it was always a dream of mine as a kid, but I never, like I said, 6 months before it happened, I never even saw it as a possibility. Yeah. So he's brought me this far. Just continue to trust him that, like I said, he has a plan for my life, and just continue to work hard with the abilities that he's given me and the opportunities he's given me, and just kind of see what happens, go day by day. So.
Yeah. Well, we want to thank you for coming on and taking the time. Like you said, you've certainly taken advantage of those opportunities, and you've looked great in the mound as of late. So
thank you.
Keep it up. And again, we really, really appreciate the time, Cale. And we'll be back with you in 2 weeks from now, again, every Sunday at noon on our Flying Tigers YouTube page. We drop these new episodes. So that does it here. Aaron Arnstein, Cale Wetwiska, and of course, Brandon Walters from behind the scenes, wrapping up here on episode 5 of Tales from Tigertown.